our faithful government. Well, Friday night late, it was shut down, and by Monday afternoon, for the most part, it was back up and running again. So other than ruin some Pittsburgh family's trip to Lincoln Memorial, what exactly did this shutdown accomplish? Well, that really depends on who you ask, and how we got here goes back to September. You see, every single year, Congress must write and vote on a budget that funds the federal government through the next fiscal year by September 30th. Well, it was in September that our fearless commander-in-chief decided to end the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. That's the Dreamers, because, you know, he's a racist, and Obama did it. And in that same year, the government somehow let the Children's Health Insurance Program, which funds 9 million low-income kids with health care, lapse. Now, these two things combined pissed a lot of people off and started a whirlwind of what's called short-term funding bills, or continued resolutions. That pretty much means, hey, let's not deal with this quite yet. Let's just fund the government for a couple weeks and we'll deal with it later. So, over the weekend, while the government was shut down, most of our politicians decided to stay in Washington to try and get things done, which I guess just meant subtweeting blame at each other. But by Monday, enough senators had gotten on the same page that they agreed to fund the government through February 8th with a big old fat promise from the Majority Leader Mitch McConnell that immigration talks would start immediately. So, yeah, maybe good news. Maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel for 800,000 young people. Here's the thing though. Maybe not. This is where I get pissed off, because it really seems like Democrats got very nervous that they were going to take most of the heat for the shutdown, so they just said, screw it, let's get everything back up and running again. This does not guarantee passage of DACA. It just guarantees negotiations will start for it. And even if it does pass the Senate, which it probably will, our system mandates that it has to go to Paul Ryan and his illustrious House of Representatives, where its fate pretty much rests in the tiny hands of our commander-in-chief saying, yeah, no, for sure, this time I'm definitely going to sign it, for sure, maybe. And I mean, who really wants to count on that? So, this is where you come in. We need to call everybody. Our governors, our senators, both of them are congressmen and women. If you don't know who that is for you, it's really easy. Just Google your zip code and congressional district. It'll probably link you straight to an email and a phone number that you can call. And now you know who this person is. You'll probably be like, oh, that asshole. That asshole's name is on some ugly sign in my douchebag neighbor Jerry's yard every couple of years. Now you can call them whenever you're pissed off about something. And here's the thing, guys. We're going to need to call these people every single day until each one of these dreamers is a U.S. citizen. Remember, these kids didn't choose to be here, and they especially didn't choose to be here illegally, but here they are. And they've been raised as American as you or I. If you ask me, I mean, that's about as American as this country gets. So, think about how badass it's going to be when all is said and done and we get to have a citizenship party for 800,000 of our nurses, teachers, financial advisors. Pick up the phone. Make a few phone calls. You're going to feel better for it after you're done, and you're going to make some 26-year-old software developers' life. And somehow, Ivanka, Eric, Tiffany, if this happens to creep across your timeline, could you get in your douchebag dad's ear and tell him to quit being such a prick to the 800,000 kids he promised to help? Thanks. Call your senators.